Welcome back to another episode. Today we're going to take a closer look at advanced micro devices. There are a few updates. The company has a very special event coming up. There also was a price target update. And finally, the company was at a conference and they showcased a lot of kind of information about their data center and AI solutions. So let's take a closer look in today's episode. So we can see as I am recording, the market's getting ready to close. AMD is up roughly 3.1% year to date. The stock is done has done amazing, up 95% year to date. You guys know AMD is my second biggest position in my portfolio, only coming behind Nvidia. Both these two giants roughly are 25% of my portfolio. At the moment, I am not purchasing any more shares of Nvidia based on current valuations. I'm not saying I'm bearish on it in the long term. I'm super bullish on both these companies, but I do believe right now it's for me, because I have such a nice amount of position in both, a time for me to kind of sit back and just kind of see how things play out. AMD, obviously a little bit more on the valuation side, especially with the market cap of $200 billion. But let's kind of get started with today's episode. So first, I want to showcase that AMD on June 13th, so on Tuesday, they are going to have a showcase where they talk about their next generation data center and AI technology. So I am going to do a video. Make sure to stay tuned. I take a closer look at all the kind of the products that they have, and we'll definitely discuss it. Unfortunately, maybe not unfortunately, but I recently became a dad and I won't be able to do a live stream of the live stream event. So just stay tuned, and within a few hours, I will have an update. The second thing we are going to take a closer look at is the AMD did get a price target increase from Piper Sandler. They decided to maintain their overweight rating on AMD, but they raised the price target from $110 to $150. Remember, AMT stock is sitting roughly at $125 as I am recording today's episode. I do believe AMD can still grow from here. Again, I do believe the semiconductor, especially a lot of these AI plays, might be kind of pulling a lot faster. Again, long term bullish, short term, I do believe the market can give us opportunities here and there. But like I said, I'm happy with both position size. Now, the final thing I want to take a closer look at is AMD. They were recently at a Bank of America Global Technology Conference, and the company did showcase a lot of information. They talk about even their competitors, Intel, and why they believe they will continue to win market share here, not only in this generation, but in future generations as well. And also some of the products they are expected to be released this year. But before we take a closer look at the conference, guys, make sure to hit the thumbs up. Make sure to hit the subscribe button. I'm trying to hit 30,000 subs by the end of the year, and you guys are helping me so much, and I'm really thankful. I'm trying to provide as much great content as I can to you guys, so I hopefully you guys are enjoying it. Also, if you want to join the semiconductor membership and want to learn more about the space, make sure to hit join. And finally,
I want to thank The Motley Fool for sponsoring this video, and check out fool.com/Jose for the 10 best stocks to buy now. With that link, you get a promotional offer for the subscription service. Now, let's continue with today's episode.
so in this conference, the first question was kind of just an overview, asking, hey, how do you see the market right now in the data center space? And the AMD representative, which was the senior VP and general manager of the server and business unit, says that, so in the overall data center, what we're seeing is a mix of demand profile. In the cloud, there's definitely some inventory and some optimization depending on the different cloud provider. So they might be seeing some inventory corrections in certain server providers, and in others, you might not be seeing that same case. They do mention that in the enterprise, it's clearly still a bit of macro concerns overall and a lot of cost optimization going on. So they still mentioned that it's still very cloudy here in the cloud market, no pun intended. But in the enterprise market, it's definitely a little bit weaker because of everything that's happening around. Next, they kind of talk about how AMD is expected to see a nice growth in the second half for the data center market. And the analyst was pretty much asking, hey, what's going to help you get there? Is it going to be supply chain issues? Is it going to be execution issues? What needs to happen from their perspective to achieve the milestone? And the AMD representative mentioned that they follow up very quickly with kind of their Genoa and this fourth generation server processors, where in the upcoming week we're going to hear about Bergamo, which is a cloud native optimized device with high density and very good performance per watt in energy efficiency for cloud native computing. So AMD is going to be releasing numerous kind of variations of their fourth generation processor, and each are going to be used for specific niche markets. We're going to see the next one, Bergamo, is going to be more for cloud native computing. They're also announcing or launching Genoa X, which is tuned for technical computing. So workloads like computational fluid dynamics and EDA and all sorts of advanced physics modelings will be able to see a nice boost from there. Next, they have Sina, which is another optimized Zen 4, which is part of the Zen 4 portfolio, which is optimized for telecommunication edge and storage. And that brings very high density compute at a very low cost and very low power package. So a lot of you might have been wondering about how does NVIDIA's CPU Grace kind of fit into this. NVIDIA's Grace CPU is going to be an ARM based with very low power, high kind of optimized performance for certain workloads. One of those workloads is for the telecommunication market. I do believe Sienna is going to be one of the is going to fight Grace in this market right now. I do believe when I covered Nvidia about a week ago, we did see that they won a nice kind of partnership with a big telecommunication player. But we can see AMD is kind of making different flavors for different markets in the industry. Finally, they do mention that they have the Instinct product line with the MI300 that starts to ramp in Q4, and they see that with supercomputing and some new AI wins that they have, that this can definitely be a nice market for them. So for all those reasons, they do believe that the data center market will be a nice market for them in the second half of 2023. In my opinion, is also going to mean that it's going to be a very strong market for them in the first half of 2024, especially since the MI300 is expected in Q4. The other thing they kind of mentioned, let's kind of follow through here. They kind of talk about their competitors. The question is, so your main competitor, right, is launching their Sapphire Rapid products, right? And they've already kind of shipped a nice amount. Do they think that head-to-head competition in this generation is different, better, or worse than previous generations? So it's pretty much saying, hey, what do you feel about your competition at the moment? AMD responded, and they didn't want to gloat or anything, but they're just like, I can tell you what our customers are saying. From what we see today and from what our customers are saying, there is a clear performance, energy efficiency, and total cost ownership leadership today in a very strong leadership. And they continue to see that in the feedback from their customers. So pretty much they're not worried of Intel at the moment. Kind of pushing along, they went even a step further, and I really like this. They mentioned that even Milan was their previous generation, holds up extremely well to Sapphire across many workloads. It's higher performance, and it obviously comes at a better price because it's previous generation on the previous kind of uh, model. I forget what it's called, on a previous kind of platform. That's what I'm talking about. So it's better in certain workloads and is cheaper in certain, and it's cheaper. So they mentioned that not only is our current generation steps ahead of Sapphire, but our previous generation can beat it in certain workloads. The next question is one I liked, right? Intel has really been talking about pushing and developing numerous new products in the next years, right? That 5 nodes in 4 years. So this question is, how do you see that you're going to continue to execute here and kind of be a strong player in 2024 and 2025? And AMD mentioned that there's really 3 reasons why they believe they can continue their execution cadence. The first thing they mentioned is they work really strong with TSMC's engineers to get as much possible out of each process, right? Zen 4 is based on 5 nanometer. Zen 5 will be based on 4 and 3 nanometers, and they're saying that, hey, we have a really strong partnership with TSMC, and we're making sure that we continue to develop the most that we can out of their process nodes. The second thing I think is more of just your general answer. They have huge innovation in design, and they continue to push that forward. I don't think that's really, I think anybody can say that, but the reason number 3 is one of my favorites. they do mention that they are a leader in chiplet integration, which basically started with Naples on chiplet integration and their advanced packaging around 2.5D and 3D stacking with Genoa X will keep them continuously advancing. So I do believe that chiplet integration, AMD is definitely a little bit a steps ahead compared to Intel and maybe even compared to Nvidia. But is that going to be enough? There were a few other questions of how the AMD is going to continue to develop here in the data center space and how are they going to push in the AI market. AMD outside of here, they don't really share too much more information. They mentioned that, hey, stay tuned for June 13th, where the company is going to showcase a lot more information about the data center and their AI technology. Like I mentioned, AMD is my number two position in my portfolio. I'm super bullish in the company. I do believe certain companies in the semiconductor space might give us a little bit of volatility with such amount of run up, but I do believe AMD in the long term from here will continue to give me great gains. Unfortunately, I personally am not buying AMD at these levels. Maybe through an ETF, but individually, I think I'd rather sit back. But that's because AMD is already a big position in my portfolio. If maybe I didn't have shares and wanted to enter, I personally would only do dollar cost average. Let me know how you guys are doing it. Are you a brand new investor here of AMD, or are you a long-term shareholder like me who's been in this company since the single digits? I've been in AMD since the sevens, right? That's when I've been following this company, and I'm super excited that I have. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. Take care, have a good day, and see you next time.